Have you ever experienced the uncanny feeling when certain creatures show up suddenly, almost impossibly, within the boundaries of your personal space? One day, perhaps a bat hangs silently in the eaves, or a frog is perched right on your welcome mat. Maybe a lizard catches your eye from a wall corner, an owl calls out in the deepest part of the night, or a seemingly insignificant cockroach makes its unsettling appearance just when your thoughts are at their most frantic. Most people dismiss this as mere random chance, nothing more than the natural world intersecting with the man-made. But deep down, you, the one who is chosen, sense a greater pattern. You feel that the invisible world communicates in profound ways that standard sight misses. What if these animals aren't just accidental visitors or pests, but meticulously placed spiritual signals? Across the breadth of ancient wisdom, sacred texts, and countless spiritual disciplines, animal appearances were never viewed as trivial occurrences. They were revered as clear warnings, powerful confirmations, or direct signals from the higher realms. It's a core belief in many traditions that the spiritual dimension utilizes the language of nature to convey its messages, especially when a soul has reached a level of awareness keen enough to notice the subtleties that others easily overlook. And here is the fact that resonates with those on an elevated path. These creatures don't select a dwelling by sheer misfortune. They arrive precisely where their message will be received and understood. They appear where an individual is currently being guided, intensely protected, undergoing an awakening, or being prepared for a significant test. So I pose the question to you again with greater emphasis. Is it true coincidence or is it direct communication? Stay with me until the very end of this message. The reason is simple yet transformative. Once you grasp the profound spiritual significance of each of these animals, your perception of them will be fundamentally altered forever. You will begin to observe intricate patterns, receive definitive answers, heed crucial warnings, and perhaps even recognize the direct response to a whispered prayer you offered when you believed yourself to be entirely alone. Before we delve deeper into these revelations, take a moment to hit the like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet joined this community. And leave a comment below with the number 99. Why the number 99? Because in the realm of spirit, 99 is the powerful symbol of ultimate completion, a heightened state of awakening, and the critical moment right before a major breakthrough. Those who comment align themselves directly with the energy of revelation. And tonight, a significant truth is being made visible to you. The bat, the herald of transformation. When a bat unexpectedly enters a home, the typical response is immediate panic. People associate it with shadows, primal fear, bad omens, and impending disorder. However, listen closely. The spiritual world does not rely on fear to speak. It communicates through sophisticated symbols, and the bat stands as one of the most potent, unmistakable symbols a receptive soul can encounter. A bat appears only when a major cycle in your life is nearing its end. Even if your conscious mind hasn't acknowledged it yet, its presence confirms that something within you is undergoing a deep spiritual death. This isn't a physical transition, but the shedding of an old identity, obsolete habits, and restricting attachments. It represents the version of yourself that simply cannot proceed onto the destined path ahead. Ponder the unique existence of the bat. They are quintessential creatures of the night, yet they are never lost within it. They navigate in absolute total darkness, possessing an innate knowledge of their precise destination. They execute their movements with astonishing precision, while the surrounding world seems silent, still, and daunting. Spiritually, this perfectly mirrors the journey of the chosen ones. No one can truly see the silent battles you are conquering. No one hears the internal struggles you endure. Yet against all odds, you persist and keep moving forward. This tenacity is the very essence of the bat's energy. When this creature enters your home, the underlying message is not one of fright. It is a powerful command. Prepare for fundamental transformation. The bat's arrival signifies that something must definitively exit your life, so that something infinitely bigger and better can take its place. This departure might be a relationship that consistently drained your vital energy, a career that diminished your spirit, or a purposeful period of silence initiated by the divine to reorganize your entire trajectory. The bat is an unmistakable spiritual marker, signaling that the invisible realm has already set your spiritual rebirth into motion, irrespective of whether you feel mentally or emotionally prepared for it. The wisdom goes even deeper. Bats do not simply fly at random. They utilize echolocation. They emit a sound that reliably returns to them, providing a perfect guide for their direction. Therefore, on a spiritual level, the bat materializes when your most fervent prayers, your silent cries for help, and your deepest questions are now actively returning to you with the answers. You might have mistakenly believed that the heavens were unresponsive, but they were, in fact, working. The answer just didn't arrive in the specific expected language. The bat's sudden appearance in a dwelling marks the soul's transition, moving away from the person it once was, and actively stepping into the person it was created to become. This is precisely why this sign is never seen during periods of ease or comfort. It appears during quiet heartbreaks, necessary endings, profound spiritual awakenings, and the peculiar empty space that always precedes a magnificent new beginning. You might not perceive the light just yet, but rest assured, the light is clearly seeing you. And here is the most profound meaning encapsulated within the bat symbolism. The period of darkness you are currently navigating is not a form of punishment. It is in fact a tunnel. Tunnels, by their very design, only exist because there is a brilliant light waiting on the other side. So, if a bat has crossed your path or appeared within your home, be intensely attentive. A major life element is leaving, a new reality is arriving, and your spirit is being propelled into its next chapter, whether you feel entirely ready or not. When destiny makes the conscious decision to advance, remaining comfortable ceases to be an option. The universe, in its wisdom, rarely offers a second knock. If the significance of the bat has already stirred your soul, prepare yourself for what the next visitor reveals, because its presence doesn't just offer protection, it illuminates precisely who should be kept at a distance from you. The lizard, the guardian of silent discernment. While the bat's energy loudly announces inevitable transformation, the lizard operates and moves in utter silence. It does not crash into your living space. It makes no disruptive noise, nor does it demand immediate attention. It simply appears still, acutely alert, and constantly watching. This behavior alone conveys an immensely powerful spiritual truth. The lizard arrives when the unseen spiritual world is actively monitoring circumstances immediately surrounding you. It is the definitive symbol of silent protection, a vigilant guard that never needs to roar, yet observes every single detail. Most individuals simply ignore it. They see a small creature on the wall and assume it's insignificant. But spiritually, the lizard is a profound messenger of discernment. The lizard makes its presence known when the subtle energies around you are rapidly shifting. It appears when the true intentions of an individual are not what they superficially appear to be, or when the private prayers you whispered in your darkest hours are being fulfilled without a single fanfare. A lizard stationed on your wall is not staring into empty space. It is observing the unseen. It possesses an acute sense for vibrations, slight movements, and shifts in energy fields. On a spiritual plane, it signifies your intuition fully waking up, almost like a silent, urgent whisper instructing you. Not everyone who offers you a smile is worthy of your absolute trust. Many chosen souls learn this pivotal lesson through painful experience. True betrayal rarely originates from total strangers. It comes from those you deliberately invited into your life, your home, your heart, your most private spaces. The lizard is a powerful spiritual reminder. Pay attention to the significant things that are not being verbally expressed. Take note of the underlying tone, the emerging patterns, the abrupt shifts in someone's demeanor. You are being spiritually guided to perceive what your protective heart has tried to shield you from acknowledging. And when this lizard persistently returns to the exact same location, the same room, the same window ledge, the same secluded corner, that occurrence is far from random. Spiritually, it is actively guarding a specific territory. It is spiritually marking a precise location where your energetic field requires concentrated protection. Occasionally, the lizard will station itself near your bedroom, which is the space where your spirit is at its most vulnerable, where dreams often unveil raw truths, and where invisible spiritual battles are most fiercely waged. At other times, it positions itself near the main entrance, acting like a small, silent warrior, declaring, "Nothing enters here without first being thoroughly observed." And here is a seldom realized, hidden detail. Lizards possess the incredible ability to detach their tail as a survival mechanism to escape an attack. Spiritually, this act perfectly symbolizes the profound power of letting go, the necessary escape from what is attempting to hold you captive. It serves as a stark warning. Do not stubbornly cling to people, lingering memories, or deteriorating situations that are actively trying to drain your life force. Release them now before they succeed in destroying your precious inner peace. The lizard exhibits no fear of vertical walls, dangerous heights, obscure shadows, or long silences. It moves with assured confidence in places where others cannot tread. It embodies the spirit of strategy, instinctively knowing when to remain absolutely still, and when the moment is right to move swiftly. When this animal arrives, the world immediately surrounding you is not as tranquil as it appears. Something pivotal is in the process of being exposed. Someone's carefully constructed mask is subtly slipping. Someone's hidden intentions are currently under intense spiritual surveillance. Therefore, if a lizard has entered your space or if it keeps reappearing in the same specific spot repeatedly, understand this deeply. Your spirit is being actively defended. Your inner eyes are being opened wide. The unseen is being revealed to you in absolute silence. But while the lizard serves as a silent observer and protector, there is another animal that cleanses, not the physical space around you, but the deep, internal spaces within you. And when that one arrives, it signifies that the spiritual realm is executing a thorough, deep cleanse you were likely unaware you desperately needed. The frog, the cleansing interruption, unlike the watchful lizard. The frog arrives as a definite spiritual interruption. It doesn't attempt to hide. It doesn't engage in pretense. It simply appears, often immediately after periods of heavy rain, significant storms, or in moments when the very air feels unusually heavy or thick. Spiritually, this timing is critically important. Frogs are inherently drawn only to water, and water in all spiritual traditions is the elemental force of emotion, deep memory, intuition, and spiritual purification. So when a frog appears close to your home, the universe is not merely observing, it is actively washing. The frog is the primary symbol of purification, not the kind that is visible on the surface, but the profound, internal cleansing you may not even realize is underway. Its presence signals that your soul is actively releasing toxins that your mind tried hard to deny the existence of. This includes deep-seated bitterness, stifled anger, lingering grief, and silent heartbreaks. All the cumulative emotional weight you have carried for months or even years without uttering a single word. A frog situated at your doorstep is a powerful spiritual affirmation that something heavy inside you is finally being rinsed away. Reflect on the natural life cycle of the frog. It starts entirely in the water, then fully emerges onto the land. It is a survivor in two distinct worlds. Spiritually, this perfectly represents transition, the merging and alignment of your emotional world with your physical reality. You may be navigating a phase where your deepest emotions are fundamentally transforming into something new and whole. You might be fiercely trying to maintain strength, but the universe knows that you require deep cleansing more than mere temporary strength. Most people fail to connect these seemingly disparate events. They simply say, it's just a frog. But look with spiritual eyes. Frogs do not appear when everything is perfectly fine. They show up precisely when the process of healing has begun. They arrive after the storm, not to warn you, but to provide confirmation. Something you could not release by yourself is now being systematically removed from your energy field. This might be a toxic connection, a tenacious spiritual blockage, a burdensome presence, or a chronic silent pain. Even if you perceive no noticeable external changes, the spiritual mechanism is already fully engaged. And here is a crucial detail often overlooked. Frogs are deeply attracted to water, but they are equally sensitive to vibration. They instinctively sense when an environment's frequency has shifted. Therefore, spiritually, when a frog materializes near your home, it indicates that your vibration has changed. The frequency surrounding you is actively rising, cleansing, and detoxing your space. It means your spirit has stopped tolerating what previously kept you immobilized. Sometimes you may find yourself crying unexpectedly without a clear reason. Sometimes you feel inexplicably exhausted. Sometimes people suddenly depart, doors firmly close, and relationships simply fade. And then the frog appears. The frog arrives not to cause a disturbance, but to seal the purification, to serve as a deep reminder that this necessary release is occurring not on the surface level, but deep within the unseen parts of your being. This is why, in many ancient ancestral traditions, frogs were integral to rituals of rebirth, ceremonies ensuring that the pain of yesterday could not follow the individual into the certainty of tomorrow, where old persistent wounds were thoroughly washed clean before the new season could properly begin. So if a frog has paid a visit to your home, it is a spiritual confirmation that you are crossing a major bridge. You might feel isolated, but you are being rigorously cleansed and prepared for the vibrant life that is patiently waiting ahead. And here is the critical point that most people miss entirely. Cleansing is always the precursor to revelation. The frog doesn't merely clean. It meticulously prepares the ground, because once the heavy emotional fog finally lifts, something that was hidden becomes strikingly visible, something you were never meant to overlook. And that pivotal truth is precisely what the next spiritual visitor reveals. The owl, the messenger of unveiled truth, while the frog diligently cleanses what has been heavy. The owl arrives for a fundamentally different purpose. The owl's mission is not to mend your heart. Its mission is to open your spiritual eyes. It appears when the unseen spiritual forces are actively moving. It arrives when the spiritual board is being rearranged, and truth is poised to forcefully rise to the surface, like a stone breaking through calm water. The owl is in no way a messenger of fear. It is the definitive messenger of revelation. Owls possess the ability to see what others cannot. They are expert hunters in profound darkness. They hear what is utterly silent. They detect movements so minuscule that the average human eye would miss them entirely. That is why, spiritually, an owl near your house signifies that a crucial hidden element is about to be exposed. This could be a truth, a lie, a disguise, a betrayal, or a secret that has been protected by silence but is now reaching its expiration date. Sometimes the owl appears during a life season, where you intuitively feel that something is fundamentally off, yet you cannot pinpoint or articulate the reason. You sense it in your spirit, in your dreams, in the pit of your intuition. You feel that what is being said around you does not align with the reality. When the owl arrives, it provides powerful confirmation. You are not imagining things. Your intuition is absolutely correct, and soon, external facts will definitively align with that inner feeling. In many sacred traditions, the owl was deeply revered as the guardian of truth, not the comforting, palatable kind, but the kind that burns, reveals, frees, and utterly destroys illusions, materializes when the chosen soul is on the verge of seeing behind the curtain. It appears when the divine is preparing to remove a deceptive disguise from someone, when subtle manipulation is about to be dragged into the full light. It is a strong spiritual declaration. Pay very close attention. The light is coming, and here is the truly extraordinary fact. The owl will never appear in an environment where lies can continue to survive. When it comes near a house, perching on a rooftop, hooting through the night, or watching from a nearby tree, it means that the spiritual atmosphere in that location has undergone a permanent shift. The forces of darkness are rapidly losing their power. Hidden agendas are being forcefully pulled into the open air. What was quietly whispered in secrecy is about to echo with undeniable truth. Some individuals immediately become frightened when an owl appears, but spiritually, the only people who should genuinely fear the owl are those who operate under a blanket of deception. For the chosen ones, the owl is an incredibly powerful ally. Its presence means your discernment is being intensely sharpened. Your spiritual vision is clearing with absolute clarity. You will no longer be easily deceived by empty words, shallow appearances, or manipulative tactics. And there is a deeper layer still. Owls have the remarkable physical ability to rotate their heads almost completely. Spiritually, this signifies expanded vision. You are about to view both your past and your present with unparalleled clarity. You are about to fully comprehend why a certain event occurred, who was truly authentic, who was false, and what your next most strategic step should be. The confusion is lifting. The dense fog is disappearing. Revelation is replacing all doubt. Sometimes the owl does not arrive because someone is actively lying to you. Sometimes it arrives simply because you are awakening. Your spirit is forcefully leveling up. You are tapping into a well of wisdom that others cannot possibly understand. You are seeing beyond the mere physical world and peering directly into the spiritual one. The owl is the ultimate sign that your intuition is no longer a gentle whisper. It is becoming a clear, commanding voice. So, if an owl has revealed itself near your home, prepare yourself mentally and spiritually. You are about to witness a revelation that will irrevocably alter how you perceive a specific person, a difficult situation, or even the very trajectory of your destiny. Truth is coming, and it will not pause to ask for permission. And once the raw truth is exposed, the final visitor arrives, not to warn, but to forcefully drag into the light the very thing most people desperately run from: the shadows they refuse to acknowledge. The cockroach, the confrontation with self. If the owl's energy exposes what is hidden around you, the cockroach exposes what is hidden inside you. It is the most intensely misunderstood spiritual messenger because its arrival is never pleasant or beautiful. It arrives in an uncomfortable and jarring manner, and spiritually, that discomfort is precisely the entire purpose. Cockroaches symbolize the things the soul has been deliberately avoiding. They represent emotional grime, suppressed memories, unaddressed wounds, and accumulated spiritual clutter. They surface when something you tried desperately to bury deep down is now aggressively demanding to be acknowledged and faced. Consider the environments where cockroaches thrive best. Dark, confined spaces, forgotten corners, places no one ever willingly looks. Spiritually, these are the very same places people choose to hide their most persistent pain. You tell yourself, "I'm fine. It's no big deal. I already forgot about it." But the universe sees exactly what you are forcefully pushing down. The heart instinctively remembers what the rational mind attempted to erase. And so, when genuine healing is long overdue, the cockroach arrives as a stark messenger of confrontation. Its presence is not just physical. It is deeply symbolic. It is a firm reminder that running away from your shadows does not, in fact, make them vanish. Every repressed emotion grows stronger. Every piece of grief buried deep inside becomes a silent poison. Every truth you actively avoid becomes a debilitating trap. And sometimes the only way the soul can finally scream, "Enough is enough," is by allowing what was desperately hidden to crawl into the light for full exposure. That is why cockroaches appear with such suddenness. You never expect them. You never want them. You possess no control over where they choose to show up. Spiritually, the message is identical. You cannot control when unresolved pain chooses to resurface. You cannot schedule the precise moment your heart decides it needs to break wide open. Healing arrives when it chooses its time, not when it is convenient for you. Many chosen souls carry their heaviest emotional battles in complete silence. They remain relentlessly strong for everyone else. They wear a mask pretending to be perfectly fine so no one has to worry about them. But when the spirit begins to suffocate under the weight of what has not been expressed, the cockroach becomes the symbol of an unavoidable spiritual intervention. It compels you to recognize and acknowledge what you have persistently been pushing away. Here is a deeper, more challenging truth. Cockroaches are renowned for surviving almost anything. Fire, chemical poisons, even catastrophic destruction. They are nearly impossible to fully exterminate. Spiritually, this resilience symbolizes an internal issue, a memory, a person, a fear, a wound that you have yet to defeat because you have never truly faced it. The cockroach aggressively poses the question your soul has been most terrified to answer. What are you actively avoiding right now? It doesn't arrive to embarrass you. It comes to shatter the cycle. It exposes the emotional rot before it can spread further, forcing you to cleanse the areas where you kept insisting that everything was perfectly okay. It is supremely uncomfortable, yes, but it is absolutely necessary. Sometimes the universe will simply not permit you to move on until you fully deal with the poison that has been slowly crippling your spirit. And if cockroaches appear frequently, particularly in the same room again and again, that specific space is symbolically holding dense emotional residue, perhaps a room filled with old, unreleased memories, a place where you cried uncontrollably, or a spot where arguments consistently erupted. The physical manifestation is a direct mirror of the spiritual reality. But here is the essential key. Cockroaches only appear so that the necessary cleaning process can begin. They are not the root problem. They are merely the heralds that reveal the problem. And once the hidden is squarely faced, once the wound is acknowledged in the light, the spiritual infestation will cease. Because healing that is chased away is healing that is indefinitely delayed. Healing that is courageously embraced is healing that is completed. The cockroach may be the messenger of discomfort, but after discomfort comes the inevitable breakthrough. The final revelation. Seeing with spiritual eyes, the moment the shadows are exposed, something truly extraordinary occurs. The spiritual world doesn't just deliver a message. It actively intervenes. And the final animal, the one we'll cover fully in a future message, doesn't just arrive to warn, cleanse, or reveal. It appears to safeguard your destiny itself. When it makes its presence known, know that the spiritual realm is already working tirelessly in your favor, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. Each of these animal visitors carries a critical piece of the puzzle. But here comes the profound revelation that most people never fully grasp. They only appear for those who are spiritually awake enough to notice them. The universe is efficient. It never wastes its signs. The spiritual dimension does not transmit powerful coded messages to closed eyes. When these creatures willingly cross the invisible border between the natural world and your personal home, it is because something powerful within you has awakened. You have achieved a level of perception that the majority of people never access. Why does the spiritual realm use animals as its primary agents? Because animals do not lie. They don't engage in pretense. They respond purely to energy, vibration, and frequency. They are naturally pulled toward places where a major spiritual shift is occurring. When one enters your home, it is not merely entering the walls and foundation. It is actively entering your atmosphere, your spirit, your core energetic field. And that is the absolute confirmation that a message is being delivered directly to your soul. The world mistakenly believes the universe speaks with a deafening volume, but the chosen ones know the quiet truth, whispers, and the profound language of the unseen is always conveyed through symbols. Humans are experts at ignoring what is subtle. Animals are not. They are entirely guided by raw instinct, the same instinct that responds to a heartfelt prayer, the need for immediate protection, an urgent spiritual cleansing, or impending danger. When your life enters a period of intense transition, your home will reflect that change before you yourself fully recognize it. So how should you consistently interpret these powerful signs? First, observe what was actively happening in your life on that exact day. Were you feeling deeply exhausted, intensely overwhelmed, making a challenging decision, ending a long chapter, or initiating something new? These animals arrive with flawless timing. Their appearance will always perfectly synchronize with your current spiritual condition. Second, be acutely aware of your emotional atmosphere. Were you feeling inexplicably anxious, emotionally drained, sad without cause, or perhaps strangely peaceful? Sometimes the message is not about external events, but the hidden internal state. The universe will warn you when someone is deceptive, comfort you when you are breaking, or cleanse you when you are stubbornly holding on to what desperately needs to leave. Third, write it all down. People swiftly forget these potent signs because they place misplaced trust in their memory over their intuition. But when you meticulously document the recurring pattern, the precise day, the time, the emotion you felt, and the animal encountered, something truly remarkable begins to happen. You start to see the connections. The messages clearly align. You realize that absolutely nothing was random. It was flawless guidance. Because here is the immutable rule of the spiritual realm. The sign arrives only when the soul is completely ready to receive it. Not a moment before, not a moment after, but only when your spirit has the capacity to carry the depth of its meaning. The bat appears when a cycle reaches its completion. The lizard arrives when active protection is needed. The frog shows up when internal cleansing begins. The owl materializes when truth is forcefully rising. The cockroach surfaces only when healing can no longer be postponed. Some will remain skeptical, saying it's all just nature. They will mock what they utterly fail to comprehend. But chosen souls do not look with their physical eyes. They look with their spirit. And once you start accurately recognizing these potent signs, your life begins to move in a new, empowered direction. You stop forcing what is clearly breaking. You stop trusting what intuitively feels wrong. You stop ignoring the profound inner knowing that your soul already possesses. The universe does not send these warnings to cause you fear. It sends them to save you. It does not send messages to cause confusion. It sends them to guide you. And the moment you begin to pay focused attention, you unlock something deeply powerful: spiritual partnership. You are no longer navigating this journey alone. You are being meticulously led. Now that you have begun to grasp the meaning, you are ready for the ultimate, most important realization. What happens when you actively respond to these signs? And what are the spiritual consequences when you choose to ignore them? Chosen one, you now hold the understanding. Nothing in the spiritual world that intersects your life is ever random. Every appearance has an undeniable meaning. Every creature that has crossed your threshold carried a message the universe desperately wanted you to hear. The bat brought transformation. The lizard offered protection. The frog delivered cleansing. The owl announced revelation. The cockroach demanded confrontation. None of them arrived by pure chance. They came because your spirit is actively waking up. You are starting to perceive the invisible world exactly as the chosen ones were always intended to see it. And now we reach the deepest truth of all. Perhaps what you believed was merely an animal was, in fact, the precise response to the prayer you made in silence. A clear whisper from heaven, a direct signal from the universe, a firm message from the spiritual realm declaring, you are not unseen. You are not unheard. You are being guided. From this moment forward, you will never walk in blindness again. You will never again ignore these powerful signs. Your intuition has been sharpened. Your spirit has fully opened. The invisible has become visible reality. There is a compelling reason why these messages found you tonight. It is because your destiny needed you awake, alert, and perfectly aligned. So I ask you one final time, which animal has most recently appeared in your home? Comment your answer below. Your personal story is far more than just your own. It immediately becomes a guiding light for someone else who is currently living through the exact same spiritual moment, but lacks the ability to interpret it. When chosen ones speak their truth, other chosen ones awaken to theirs. And if this message resonated deep within you, if your spirit felt this connection, if your heart knows this information was specifically meant for you, ensure you are subscribed to this channel. There is so much more you are destined to learn, more vital signs you must be able to recognize, and more spiritual truths that will fundamentally change the way you walk in this world. May your spiritual eyes remain wide open. May your intuition constantly sharpen. May every sign that appears in your life bring you clarity, divine protection, and purpose. You are guided. You are guarded. You are chosen. And the universe is very clearly not done speaking to you yet.